Hi guys, welcome to Cold Fiction. We are talking about Rebel Ridge today, which is a new movie on Netflix. If you haven't seen it yet, it's super cool. We're going to go around the table on that. We're also going to be talking about, in honor of Rebel Ridge, which was an ass-kicking movie, we're going to talk about actors that actually we think could kick ass in real life, right? So we're going to do the mount on that. Now we're doing another format change on the mount because we found out Barstool is doing something similar to what we were doing before. So this is yet another format change. From now on, when we do the mount, what we're going to do is we're all going to go through and lay out our picks, and then we're going to fight over actually creating a top four out of all of our picks. And we're all going to have to argue back and forth and figure out whatever. This is creativity in motion. You just follow along and see what happens. But let's start with Rebel Ridge. I'll start because I was super excited about this movie. I know Eric actually has some really, really cool observations about this movie that I missed too when I first started thinking about it. But I just want to say this about Rebel Ridge. Aaron Pierre, who is the main actor in Rebel Ridge, I think as soon as I finished the movie, I sent Alex a text message that said, from now on, I want to see Aaron Pierre in every fucking action movie I ever watch. Right? This dude is such a badass. I love this guy. And there's an intensity about him, right? Like his eyes and just his demeanor. I don't know if it's just that he's got awesome acting chops and he just pulls it off, or if there's really something sinister about this dude, because he was unnerving
But it's all like bubbling under the surface,
right? Like
Just,
he was just I was thinking about it. Who was the guy that was originally going to do it? We were talking about him earlier today. The guy that played
Boyega.
Boyega, the guy who played Finn. I don't have anything bad to say about Boyega. I liked the Finn character from the episode 7, 8, 9, but I feel like it would have been a really different presentation of the main character in Rebel Ridge, because Pierre was so intense and just under the surface, like his demeanor and the way he looked and the way he carried himself, just the way he would like hold a pistol like a Marine, you know what I mean? Just little things about his character really set this amazing tone for this movie. I don't want to give anything away, but it's worth your time to watch, and that's all I have to say about it. I haven't talked to Alex yet about it, so I want to go to Alex first because I want to hear what he has to say about it. Go, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to this movie because, I've been a big fan of Jeremy Saulnier and since his first movie, Blue Ruin, which I think was like 2011,
Yeah,
2012.
that was a good flick though.
Yeah, he was like, real low budget indie movie, and I just knew that that was going to be a guy to watch. And so far now, he's made 4 movies, and they've all been good.
Dude,
So,
the Green Room was so
Green
good.
Room, Green Room was like might be one of my favorite movies of all time. And he has a really, really unique way of creating, intense moments, natural, but also kind of surprising. But as far as the movie is concerned, I completely agree about Aaron Pace. I had no idea who he was. And then I looked him up and I was like, oh, he was in like that M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old or
Old,
something.
yeah, he played
Oh,
like a
I've seen
rapper,
him.
right?
But yeah, he absolutely, riveting in this movie. And Saulnier has, over the time, over 4 different movies now, he's been able to create, action centerpieces I mean, they drive the story along in the plot. But when you look at his, career from the first movie and now to this fourth movie, like you can see how far he's grown and how he can present all the different, action pieces together in a way that, well, number one, it's cohesive to the plot, but it also is incredibly exciting and pushes the plot forward. And it's really, really interesting to watch. And Aaron Pierce, man, like you said, there's something just
Aaron Pierre.
intimidating
Yeah,
about him.
he,
And when you mentioned John Boyega, I'm kind of like, it would be a very different movie with him. I'm not saying it would be a
yeah,
worse movie,
right,
but it
right.
would be a very different movie with him. And I think maybe what they would have done is it would not be so obvious that he's a badass and if he were the main character. Like obviously we saw the trailer and everything, so we know something's up. But I think that kind of reveal where they realize, oh, this guy is not just, you know, motor pool guy. I mean, this is an actual badass. Maybe that reveal would have had a bit more impact, but everything
Yeah,
else,
that's a good point because
yeah,
you knew in the first scene
right.
with Pierre, the way he came across when he was in the back of that cop car when he's talking to the cops, you knew that he was going to tear people's limbs off, right? Just the way he was. There was
Mhm.
something about it that you're waiting for him to just come out, right?
But you could see that he was containing himself
Right,
from
right.
doing what he knew he could do,
So yeah, with Boyega, maybe it would have been more of like a real on-screen surprise that, oh
Big, big
wow, this
deal.
guy really knows what he's doing. That's an interesting take. All right.
Yeah. So maybe they would have done that. I don't know. But as
All
far
right.
as the movie goes, Saulnier now is 4 for 4 as far as every movie he's done is either great or certainly worth watching.
Right.
And
Uh,
I'm just like really, really interested in seeing what
Guy,
this guy is going to do in like 5, 10 years from now.
he's an
Um,
amazing storyteller. He really
yeah.
is. Like all of his movies have this suspense, but it's rooted in
Mhm.
reality.
And as far as I remember, he's written and directed all of his movies. So it's not like he's
Yeah.
working off somebody else's scripts. He writes his movies too.
Right. Right.
So 4 for 4, man. He's batting 1,000 so far. And so
100%.
I'm really interested to see what he can do next.
Me too. Gus, I want to get your take, man. What did you think of this?
I loved it. Super good. It was super great. Like suspense. The suspense was great. It's like the whole movie is unsettling's not the right word, but you're like just anticipating.
Anticipating.
It's
Yeah.
just, and it's not going to be Easter. There is no fucking. There's just no fucking Easter bunny. It's just fucking Grim Reaper's coming. There's no fucking Easter bunny on this fucking trip. Fucking Grim motherfucking Reaper. Like you're just like sitting there and you're like, what the fuck? And then like, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but like these fucking hicks, it's like, dude, at what point do you not know that you're digging your own fucking grave?
Right.
Like at what point? Like when I was watching the flick, I was like, oh, this is hubris and shit. Oh, that's what this is. Right? Oh, this is fucking. You hear hubris, right? And you're like, oh, fucking faster. Oh no, it's these fucking hicks that don't know they're digging their own grave and shit for like a measly amount of cash. But super cool, really great. I thought it had some like really good throwbacks to like some classic like man versus cop movie, like man corrupt cop. Thought it had. I love that part. I thought it had a really, in my opinion, I thought it had a Western feel, modern Western.
Yeah.
Right, real modern Western. Like you could change some things, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's totally like how No Country for Old Men, modern Western. I felt that this close, right? If you tweaked with it a little bit, but I loved it. I can't say anything wrong about it. Really good acting, and it was like it was just good all the way around. There was no lectures. There's no points to be made. It was just a good flick where you're like, this is cool. And it was like, it was rooted enough, the story, in my opinion, was rooted enough in reality that you were like, oh yeah, this should, like, because it's about, like, this isn't a spoiler. It's about like asset forfeiture, civil comps.
Sure.
And that's,
yeah.
right? Like, you're like looking at this and you're like, oh, whoa, this is a thing, right? And like, you're like, it's believable enough. Then it goes fucking ham, but whatever, right? like it's believable enough, and then it goes ham as a motherfucker, and you're like, whoa, damn, you took all the ham pills, but yeah, 5 out of 5.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything that you said.
Record, if you send me ham pills, DM me, I'll
I'm just gonna make a ham and cut pills out of it and give those to you.
5.
Bueller, what are your thoughts on Rebel Ridge?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's hard for me to not go overboard on this because there's just a lot to be said about it personally. I didn't know about this movie until Alex brought it up, and like Alex talked about the director and his other movies and stuff. I haven't seen those either. But action movies, we're all action guys here, so we're all suckers for that genre. So I was totally down to watch it. But man, there's a lot of layers to this movie. It wasn't just an action movie, which I thought was great. and it was long, without feeling long because it had some good story to it, which I thought was cool. Walking Tall is a fun movie to watch, and this has a lot of parallels to Walking Tall.
Sure.
And I enjoy Walking Tall. I think it's one of my favorite movies with The Rock in it. But this movie took itself more seriously than Walking Tall did. Walking Tall was very flashy, and it was a popcorn action movie with The Rock, and it was great for everything that it was. I mean, I see Eric nodding his head like we enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
Sure.
But this one took itself
It
a
was
lot more seriously.
serious. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a much more serious and like a better movie, Walking Tall.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man. And talking about I had something earlier. Oh, you were talking about how the movie could have changed with John Boyega versus Aaron Pierre.
Right.
It made me think of the movie Abigail and how one of their what's his name, Angus Cloud or something like that, he died during filming, and how I really think that changed the pacing of the movie and how they had the reveal super early on in Abigail, where I think they would have kept that reveal longer had Angus Cloud not died. Same thing here. Like I agree with Alex. Like I think that they might have been able to keep the reveal more secret had they had John Boyega, a known actor, as opposed to Aaron Pierre. That being said, though, I think we're really witnessing something here with this guy, Aaron Pierre. Virtually unknown. He was in Mufasa, or he's going to be in Mufasa. I don't even know if Mufasa came out or not. Old, but you might not remember him from Old. He's very new to the scene, but he's captivating on screen. And my girlfriend fell in love with him instantly. Instantly. That movie could have sucked, and she would have watched the whole goddamn thing. But it didn't. And that also kind of led me, well, it didn't lead me to the subject, but it lends to the subject tonight of actors that you think can kick ass in real life. I had to look this guy up because he's virtually unknown, and he's on screen. He's imposing. I mean, he's got a great build to him. He looks very athletic, and he looks imposing as hell. Even though he does have those dreamy eyes, and he looks like he knows what
piercing eyes.
Yes, piercing eyes. Not dreamy. That would be silly. Who said that? But he looks like he knows what he's doing. So I had to look him up, and this guy doesn't know shit, man. This guy.
I was gonna say he's probably a theater kid.
Right.
Dude,
he used to do Shakespeare.
It's even better than that. The most athletic he was growing up was fucking track. This guy's a track nerd. I'm a track nerd, bro. Like, what? So this guy, no, he did track, and then he became a theater nerd big time, and he got discovered while doing a stage version of Othello. I don't even know if he was Othello, but he was in Othello, and that's where he got picked up for the screen. So a big theater nerd, but he's obviously in fantastic shape, and he puts forth a good effort on the screen to where he is believable. And I like that we all got to watch this, and we all kind of feel the same way about it because, like Jubal said, man, I want to see this guy a lot. I want to see him in a lot of movies.
Right.
He's entertaining, and the movie overall, I'll let Eric jump in, but the movie overall, man, I give it a definite thumbs up. I really, really enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, dude, great.
I would like to see him play a villain now too.
I was just thinking that. Like, what a great villain this guy could be, right? So, Eric, I know you've got some observations about the movie that I thought were interesting. Hit it up.
Yeah. So, for me, it's all about the believability overall. Like he just looks believable. He's 6'3". He's built. He's not like a brick shit house like how The Rock used to be, or still is actually how.
Right. He's not like a 6,000 calorie a day weightlifter.
Right. Looks like a functional. He looks like a 185, 205 fighter at 6'3". Like he would make 205.
Right.
He looks like a functional ass kicking machine. And so, and then he has that look. What I thought was, and the other thing I thought was believable, and I don't know if anybody noticed, nobody dies in this movie.
Except the
Not
judge.
a single person.
No, they saved him.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
They might have saved.
They called the cops, right? Spoilers. We're spoiling everything, whatever. They saved him because they called the cops.
The reason I think that's interesting is it makes it believable because these cops are doing this thing and they're smart enough to know to not leave like a parade of bodies behind them. that would get the FBI or the state police on their ass and all this kind of stuff. And even when they're blackmailing people in their own community to shut up, they don't go and kill them. I mean, how many times have we seen a movie where the police are just, you know, dropping bodies everywhere, right? And then also, he's not just killing 7 cops. So at the end of the movie, he's got to like explain to the state police or the FBI or whoever, it's like, yes, let me off with a warning after I've killed 7 cops. It makes more sense that he might actually get away, you know, or get away with, but he might actually get let go with a slap on the wrist or whatever is going to happen to him, because he didn't kill anybody. He just whooped a lot of ass, you know. And that my next point was that it does end abruptly, and I've seen people say that, you know, because Netflix is promoting the crap out of this movie, and that's good because it's a good movie. And I've seen a lot of people in the comments say, love this movie, ends abruptly. That's maybe the only thing that people, that's their only gripe about it. It ends abruptly. And I feel like that part of the reason is because it'll be, the resolution would be boring because it is so realistic.
Right.
But what's the resolution going to be? Him talking to the FBI, giving evidence, like talking to the state police, giving evidence. Jubal brought up an interesting point of, I don't know if he wants to explain it because
for an epilogue, like as far as an epilogue is concerned.
But I think in a lot of ways, its abrupt ending is actually appropriate.
It's a service to the viewer. It's like we're not going to waste an extra 10 minutes with an epilogue.
Can I just say, like I mentioned the movie's length earlier. It's 131 minutes long. If you really want another 15 explaining what happens after everything happens, too much. Exactly.
So I think, yeah, I you know, was it abrupt when I watched it, you know, and it ends and it's like, oh, it's over. And I was like, okay. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, yeah, makes sense. Good.
I mean, it didn't have anything left to say.
Right.
It didn't have anything left to say.
The only thing
we're so used to like everything holding our hand and explaining it, but it's like it didn't have anything left to say. Like, you know what's going to happen next.
Right.
You know, hey, if you've paid attention, you know what's going to happen next. You know.
So my thinking was that, and I think it's like, Gus, you said it was like a Western, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that same tradition, the thing about a Western is there's always a resolution, there's always an epilogue, there's always like somebody rides off into the sunset, or like, you know, there's an ending, you know, I have to go now, whatever it is. I figured what they would do is they would show the main character getting out of prison like 6 months later, and the girl picks him up and she's got like his $26,000 and they're going to go start their company together or whatever it is, right? But I actually think it was cool that they just ended it at that, you know, right where they did, because it's almost like a service. Like, we're not going to waste an extra 10 minutes of your time, an extra 15 minutes of your time. You know what happens from here. That's the end of like the main story. So I could see it either way. I could see them adding a little resolution, a little Scooby-Doo at the end, you know, to make everything happy or whatever. But it almost would have taken away from its credibility to do that. Like,
I think too, like in my, like when I watched it, I never really thought, like, once it goes to black, right, I never really thought about it much after that, right? But like thinking about it now, the resolution is that he won.
Right.
Right. No, like the resolution is that, like, and I there's all kinds of shit I could say, but the resolution is that he's sitting there and you're like, damn, dog, you won. Like,
yeah. The resolution is really 2 shots. If you really think about it, it's Don Johnson sitting, looking this way.
Right. Out the windshield. Right.
Out the windshield of his car. And then Aaron Pierre, 5 minutes later, sitting, looking this way. That's the resolution. Both of them understanding it's over.
Right.
You know, that's what Don Johnson is realizing when he's sitting there looking through the windshield of his car, that it's over.
It's over.
Everything's over. And that's what he's realizing when he's sitting where he's sitting and he's looking forward. It's finally over,
Mm.
right? That's the resolution.
Interesting.
That's what I would say. I feel
Yeah.
like that was the symbolism. Like those two guys
Right.
looking in opposite,
Looking,
almost looking at,
right.
And,
that's-
and on that note, man, I love Don Johnson. Like,
yeah.
Like, I can't even believe, like, he's popped up in a few things over the last several years, and like, man, he kills it every time. He's never a major role. This is probably his biggest role in a long time, but man, every time he's great. And the movie is so much better for him being in it.
It's
And I
true.
don't think he right now is getting the credit that he deserves. Because man, I love that guy.
Yeah, dude, he's great. He just brings like credibility in the same way
Yeah,
that
like a
that
certain,
yeah, the same
certain
way that
gravitas to it.
yeah, just gravelly gravitas. Just
Right.
a
Right.
rough reality, right? I like Don Johnson a lot. I think he did a great
There's
job.
there's a song lyric in something, and I can't find it right now. The song lyric is "I want to be Don Johnson."
Fuck yeah.
Who doesn't?
I can't blame anybody who thinks so.
All right, so I think we're all in agreement. Rebel Ridge is the movie to watch this month. Super
And
good
this
flick.
is it, going back to what you guys were saying, and I think I mentioned this to Alex and Jubal. I'm such a comic book nerd and geek that the second that movie was over, it wasn't even over yet. I was already imagining what superheroes this guy could play.
Right.
I was like watching the movie. I was like, oh, and of course I want him to play like John.
Who'd you
Stewart,
come up
Green
with?
Lantern. Oh, he has to be John Stewart, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern,
Like,
100%.
Green Lantern in like the James Gunn universe. Oh my God, that would be amazing if he could be Green Lantern.
Yep.
In, like the Green Lantern, because I mean John Stewart, he is a military man, right? So it's like he's supposed to be able to be this guy. This guy could find the ring.
This is the prequel. This is the prequel to Green Lantern. This movie.
This guy could find the Green Lantern, and I'd be okay. This character could find the Green Lantern ring, and I would be okay with it, right? So, it was just like, oh my God, this guy could be in so many things, and just the look. I know of course the ladies are gonna love him. He has the dark skin, with the I think he has hazel eyes, maybe green eyes.
I remember them being kind of blue. They were dreaming.
Yeah, whatever.
They were dreaming.
He had these light eyes with this darker complexion. Give me a break, dude. The girls, the ladies who love him.
X-ray vision, man. He
No,
could look right through you.
My lady instantly was like, "Oh my God, he looks like that one mugshot guy from a couple years ago," and I was like, "Oh, fuck." I'm turning the movie off.
How's that look?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny,
dude. I mean, dude, I hope this opens doors for him. I hope it opens doors for him. I hope we see him. And again, it's about believability. Like I was telling Jubal, it's like when Chris Hemsworth did Extraction 1 and 2.
right?
Completely, like when you watch Extraction and you're like, duh.
Right.
Here's Chris Hemsworth. He's 6'3", he's 220. When he kicks a guy in the chest, the guy goes flying. You're just like, yes.
Because of course he does.
This is the kind of movie he should be making. And this guy, if this guy had done Extraction, I would have completely believed it too. If this guy was in Extraction 1 and 2, completely believed it as well. Completely. So.
Agreed. What was that, Gus?
A good selling point on this flick is that it's like all of the characters are like working man and everyman. Like there's no performance enhancing drugs going on. Right? No, it's really like all the cops, they look like fucking cops. They don't look like they're doing a bunch of roids. Right?
They're not Terminators.
No, you watch big budget Hollywood flicks, dude. Everybody is fucking like blood doping and roids, right? Blood doping and start out like they won.
That's called roid doping.
No, it's both. But no, it's nice. It's like it's very believable. Like Don Johnson looks like a salty ass old cop, right? All of those cops look like cops. The
casting was spot on. It was perfect.
Really, like even like the clerk, even like the bail clerk, Like, I mean,
Yeah.
the casting to make it believable was really refreshing. Because one of the reasons why I hate movies and Hollywood and actors and actresses and all of the fucking garbage.
And Planet Earth.
I do like this. I do like this planet.
He
But
just doesn't like people.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Well,
It's because they all look like robots, and they all look like
Right.
actors.
Right.
They don't look like real people.
right, yeah, no. So it's nice to see something like, you know, it's like when you watch a foreign flick and like people look like people.
Right.
They're like this, you know, like I don't know.
What is that?
What's up?
What are those?
Mm.
A porn flick? What?
Porn.
Okay, if we're talking
I
about
don't know
porn, then it's
why.
time to change subjects.
All right,
Let's move on. Let's move on to our.
What are
Wait, hold on. Just
I don't-
one more thing. One more point about that movie. I kind of felt like it was a missed opportunity, but maybe it would have been too campy. Was one of the main cops in the beginning. There were two other times in the movie, and spoiler, there's a lot of fighting in this movie. But there were two
Right.
other times in the movie where I thought that same cop was getting his ass kicked, and I was like, if this cop gets his ass kicked 3 times in a row by Aaron Pierre, that's the comedy this movie is missing. Just like, and I don't want to give away the other 2 times that I thought it was, but there was two other cop fights. They kind of look like him, and I was like, man, it would be awesome if it was just a running ass kicking for this one cop the whole movie. It didn't happen.
I
I
know
wanna
what
see
you,
it
yeah,
happen
I know
now.
what you're talking about. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, so
And then
let's.
if you like Rebel Ridge, check out Green Room.
Yeah, the Green Room was a great flick, and Blue Ruin was really good too. So let's do our actors that can fight mount. We are going to go around the table. Any thoughts on who wants to start or who wants to go last or any of that kind of?
I'll set the table real quick.
Okay, all right.
Because I guess this is kind of my fault. Because and I know Jubal was going to lay the caveats down, but my thought process was there's got to be guys in Hollywood that have been around the block long enough. I mean, guys and girls. There's got to be guys and girls around Hollywood that have been around the block long enough that have picked up something with their time on screen that would surprise you if they were to get confronted in a real situation. And I've put a little bit of thought into that. So I'll go ahead and kick it off because again, we all know who the majority of the real fighters are in Hollywood, and
Right. So
I'll let Jubal touch on that.
we're avoiding actual professional fighters, like The Rock or like, you know, Bruce Lee or Chuck Norris or anything like that, but actors that don't have a background in professional fighting that we feel like I bet they'd hold their own, right? So go ahead, start us off, Joe.
Okay, so my last pick here is going to be a bit of a Hail Mary, but I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit. So, and you can laugh at me all you want, but I think the amount of time this guy has had on screen doing action roles, I think he would surprise you. Again, this is my qualifications. I think he would surprise you if it was caught on camera, him getting confronted in, say, like a bar or a restaurant or something like that. So my first pick is going to be Tom Cruise. I just legitimately think,
Yeah,
okay, fair enough. Am I going to do all 4 right now?
Do it. Lay them out.
Okay. So along those same lines, I'm going to go with Matt Damon.
Really?
Yeah, I just
All right.
think all the Bourne movies had to have given him something. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he's a bad pick, but that
You might be crazy on that one. Keep going.
Oh, he was on my list.
a dude who we have seen behind the scenes doing a ridiculous amount of training, who is not a professional by any means, but really dedicates himself to his roles and has kicked ass in all of his action roles, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. All right.
And then my really random one that I'm kind of pulling out of nowhere, but I just want to throw it out there to get this person some recognition. But I think could be at least a good runner up is Mila Jovovich.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's skip over to Eric. I want to hear what Eric's picks are. I'll
Okay.
be last. I'll go last because I probably pick some people that nobody else will. What do you got, Eric?
Okay, so I was also thinking Tom Cruise.
Okay.
I feel like he's like a adventure nut.
Right.
Well,
And
You know what the thing is about Tom Cruise? Like when you watch him run on screen,
Uh-huh.
that he runs fast, and he's really
Balls out.
running fast, right? I couldn't run like that. I can't run like that.
Yeah.
Most people I don't think can run like that. He runs fast, and it's really
I'm
him.
a runner. I'm a runner, and I can't run like that, bro.
Right. And he runs like he legit run. Like, it's not just like a shot, like where it's like no, he's running across this field, right? Anyway, he runs.
And I feel like he's like quasi saved enough people in real life that like a stressful situation with a fight, he might actually, you know,
Right. If it was
calm.
really on the line and he had to perform, he probably could pull it off. I
And
feel
if you
you.
ever watch
Right.
the behind the scenes stuff for his movies, I mean, he takes it very seriously. Like the behind the scenes for Collateral was always really fascinating because he's really doing all the gunplay and like learning all these moves about, you know, how to kill people. You know, like for real, like doing it like, you know, hours a day.
I feel like in real life, Sylvester Stallone probably grew up street fighting.
All right.
He
Sly
probably grew up.
Stallone. You're picking all the short
grew
people.
Yeah.
He's getting all the
And
Wolverine.
then what I'm gonna put I wanted to put this kid on here, but like you said, he you know, he's probably just like a track guy. So it's like between him and Chris Hemsworth. And Chris Hemsworth grew up in Australia, which gives you like 10 oh shit, there's like stuff that can kill you points.
Yeah, he had to fight like spiders.
He was boxing
Maybe
every day, bro.
I don't know. Like I feel like maybe
Okay.
no, it's tough.
Chris Hemsworth. I'm just putting him down. Let me know if you change your mind.
And my lady, I think Charlize Theron could kick the shit out of Mila Jovovich.
All right.
He's so much bigger.
She's pretty rad.
I'm saying Resident Evil Mila Jovovich, man.
Yeah, she's dude, she's rad.
Gus, fucking Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, no, that was a great fight scene in Atomic Blonde. It was the only good part of that movie, but that was a solid fight scene.
Charlize Theron is as big as she was in Monster, then I give that one too.
Yeah,
her cardio would be
all
those cigarettes.
She's tall, dude. She's a big girl.
Yeah.
What do you got, Gus? What do you got?
Dude, if she kicks me in the chest, it's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt.
I mean? So if she
gonna hurt.
5'5" Mila Jovovich in the chest, you know.
Tom Hardy.
Well, that's not bad one.
He's on mine.
All right.
That's a good one.
Right.
Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, got stabbed in the neck.
In the face. Yeah, and
scrapping.
It was him and Vince Vaughn, right?
What's that?
It was him and Vince Vaughn, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Steve
He got
Buscemi.
stabbed in the face and still whooped the guy's ass. All right, I'm with you.
We got
I like that.
Russell Crowe.
Who?
Russell Crowe.
I was thinking Russell Crowe. He didn't make it, but yeah, dude. I think he's got that old man. He would headbutt the shit out of you.
Yeah, you know what? He's an Aussie, right?
Yeah.
Super physically fit for a lot of years.
Right.
A lot of tough men. You know, like I think he could land a couple, and then be all, hey, mate, let's have a fucking.
Did you guys see Land of Bad? Did you guys watch that?
No.
Man, Russell Crowe is in that. You guys should check out Land of Bad. It was real good. It was real good. Anyway, what else you got?
And then last one is I forgot his name. No, surprise. Dude that played Creed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah, because we got him as Killmonger.
Yeah.
We got him.
He was rad as Killmonger.
Right. We got him as Creed.
Definitely thought about him too. Yeah.
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 All right, Alex, who you got?
Yeah, I was thinking about, Tom Cruise myself. I sort of thought about after all the training he did. But one of the things he did that was really, really impressive to me is on one of the Mission Impossibles. I forget which one. And you can find the clip online where he's like jumping from one building to the next or something, and he does all his own stunts for most of them.
I think that was the fourth one on the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe because I think he lands on the rooftop and he grabs himself, but his ankle snaps. Right. Like, and you could see it, you know, it's like they have different camera angles and his ankle literally snaps, and like he grabs onto the roof and you just see his face go, ah, and then he finishes the scene, like he pulls himself up and he just starts running on his broken, snapped ankle. And I'm just kind of like, you know what, man?
Yeah,
You know, if you're an actor and you're worth like $500 million and you snap your ankle and you
Keep
pull
running.
yourself up onto a building and start running,
I told you it's his running.
you could be on my tough guy mouth. You know, it's
Yeah.
like that's
Right.
that, you know, hats off to that, because I didn't make nowhere near as much money as Tom Cruise, and I would quit. I would quit as soon as my ankle snapped. I would quit as soon as I stubbed my toe. And it's just sort of like, and it's just such a crazy clip when you find it online. Just his face just goes, ah, and then he just pulls himself up and like goes on with the scene. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So Tom Cruise, just for that reason, I had to put Tom Cruise on my mount. And, you know, even though, yeah, he's a pretty big cock right now, but Will Smith, if you got on his face, I'm sure he could probably, you know,
Oh, he slapped you.
yeah, because like all the boxing training he probably did for Ali and everything. And when he slapped Chris Rock, he had really good form. You can't take that away from him.
Oh, man, all up in
He came on there and like he moved into it.
He
and,
did.
like,
It was all
straight.
from the hip.
He wasn't flailing.
Right.
He was all bam. You know, I mean, it's just, I'm just saying, you know, it's a douche move, but you got to respect, you know, the form that he had when he did it. And if
Right.
that were a fist,
wow.
I mean, I'm just saying. So probably Will Smith, if you got on his face, and if you weren't Jada Smith, he would probably have something to say to you.
All right.
Well,
All right.
I had a couple of other things. I had thought of Russell Crowe as well, like Gus brought up. Most of that is all because, you know, he actually just got in bar fights all the time and everything. You know, it's like, if you ever saw Romper Stomper, which I think is his first movie, where he plays like, you know, the skinhead and everything, and he's
Right.
pretty intimidating in that movie. It's just like certain people and certain actors are kind of like Tom Hardy. They just have a certain intensity that you can't really, like Aaron Pierce, you know, it's like, if that guy, you know, stares you down and tells you he's gonna kick your ass, you believe him, you know?
Right.
And, but my last pick, old school, I'm going with Charles Bronson.
He crossed.
Ooh.
It's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I wanted to do
Just
it
because-
proper.
No, that's a
Yeah.
good pick. Because that guy,
Yeah, anybody who spent his teens and part of his 20s being a coal miner.
right?
It's like,
That
it's
dude's
not to be
carved out of
fucked with
wood.
at all. you
He's
know?
carved out of wood, 100%.
Yeah.
So
That,
he's Charles Bronson is on my list.
yeah, so Charles Bronson's
that
like
guy-
a legit tough guy.
That guy went to school in his sister's clothes because they had so many goddamn kids in that family. He had to wear his sister's clothes to school, and you know he got in fucking fights for that, bro.
Yeah,
You know
100%.
he's got to be tough as a coffin nail, bro.
All right. So my picks are Charles Bronson. I had Charles Bronson. I had Idris Elba. Nobody else picked Idris Elba.
Ooh, Idris Elba's good though.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, he had a professional fight. So,
Oh, he did?
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Who did he have? Who did he fight professionally?
Yeah, it was just like a one-off thing. Like
All
he
right,
just
well then-
wanted to do it.
I'll change it.
He
I-
just did it to like challenge himself.
Do it.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll change it. My backup is Henry Cavill.
Okay.
And then I've got Danny Trejo. Nobody picked Danny Trejo except me. What the hell, you guys? Come on.
He's a prison boxer.
Yeah, he went to prison. And then for the ladies, I've got Gal Gadot. I feel like Gal Gadot could hold her own. Also, she taught Krav Maga in the IDF. So she is
She also fought professionally, you goddamn cheater.
did she?
Well, she's teaching Krav Maga.
Yeah, she teaches it, but she's never fought it. She's never like been in the ring.
I was like,
I okay, say it's all right. I can change it. I don't want you to cry about it.
oh, I don't care.
What about Jackie Chan? Did he ever fight professionally?
God damn it! You're not picking Jackie Chan. Get
No,
the fuck
I'll
out
take.
here.
I'll take. You know what? I'm
You're
gonna. I'll
picking
go.
Jackie Chan, I'm gonna pick Dolph Lundgren.
I'll go old school. I'll go Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm gonna say Arnold
Okay.
Schwarzenegger.
That'll work.
So I think so. If we're making a list off of what we just said, I think Tom Cruise and Charles Bronson take up the first two slots.
Right. So I feel like that's.
And-
I'm more than happy to
And-
give up almost everybody on my list except Tom Cruise, and since he's obviously a number one pick, then
Right.
I'm not worried about it.
I feel like those two guys have enough consensus that those two guys can make the list, and then pretty much it's just an argument over the last two spots.
Well, we got Russell Crowe is on 2 lists.
Can I
That's
also
true.
can I just say bringing up Steve Buscemi with the bar fight and the scar just real quick. We're watching this show called The Perfect Couple, and there's a guy in the show. I recognize him instantly, but I still had to go look him up to make sure because he's wearing makeup in the show. But are you guys familiar with Tommy Flanagan?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar.
He's an Irish actor. He's been in a ton of. He was in Gladiator. He was in of course.
Oh, the guy with the big scar on his face.
Yeah, he's in Smoking Aces.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't he in
Yeah, so speaking of bar fights, he got that big scar on his face because he was a DJ apparently in Glasgow, and he was leaving a gig, and he got jumped, and he got stabbed a bunch of times and sliced across his face.
Bummer.
So he got his ass kicked. Does that mean he could kick ass?
So he's a tough guy. Hey, he walked away from it. I probably wouldn't. I would have just cried and bled out.
Fair enough.
Super curious.
Fair enough.
No one. Ritter wasn't on anyone's list.
John Ritter?
Jeremy Ritter.
Oh, Jeremy Renner. I think it said Ritter, like John Ritter.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was Ritter. I didn't know it was Renner.
so,
Come and knock on our door.
two right here.
Come and knock on this door.
That's right. He'll win every condom fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Tom Cruise, we got Charles Bronson. Russell Crowe, like I said, is on 2 lists.
I'll give it up. I'll give it up for Russell Crowe.
I'll give Russell Crowe a slot because I wouldn't want to fight him. So
Yeah.
last slot.
And we're talking, if you see these guys on the street get into an altercation, you'd be like, oh, they're an actor. They probably couldn't do nothing. And then bam, they surprise the hell out of you.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or I don't know, Michael B. Jordan is a good pick
The
too.
thing about Tom Hardy would be in certain roles, like if he's in the Bane mode, or if he's like from that movie Warrior that he did, it was really pretty underrated.
Right.
But he also can slim down quite a bit.
I'm gonna
He's got this like weird, crazy look in his eye too.
If I may, I'm going to circle back to Keanu Reeves. When he did his John Wick training, this dude was on the course with the guns, training hard. He trained with Dave Camarillo for John Wick 4. He trained with multiple martial artists for John Wick 1 through 3. Also, he's got the guy who did some of the stunts in John Wick 4 and who did Boy Kills World. Trained him for The Matrix as well. I'm throwing him back up there just because
I'm seconding that. I'm seconding the Keanu. Like honestly, like the John Wick train.
My only issue with Keanu is trying to comprehend a reality in which somebody in our world fucks with Keanu that makes him want to fight them.
Right.
Like, who's the asshole that goes and tries to fight Keanu Reeves
Yeah,
that makes Keanu Reeves?
Bro, you don't have
You
to
know
look
what I'm
hard to find assholes that like are just assholes.
No, that's
but
true.
but it's Reeves. It's like,
But
everybody loves
if I'm thinking about somebody that's carved out of wood, I'm not thinking of Keanu Reeves, right? I'm thinking about somebody who's like, you deck them in the face and they're just like, oh, okay. Right? Like, I get that he's a trainer, right? He's dedicated, but he doesn't look hard to me. I would go for Tom Hardy or Henry Cavill or Michael B. Jordan before Keanu Reeves.
I would actually take Chris Hemsworth over
Chris of all the people that we have left on the list, I think Chris Hemsworth might be the most intimidating. But next to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's old now. So
Yeah, but do you think he could scrap?
Arnold? Yeah.
No, Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth? Yeah. I bet he could scrap.
Schwarzenegger's I think 5'10".
Mr. T?
Yeah.
What's that?
What about Mr. T?
Old Mr. T or now Mr. T?
Mr. T, circa 1989.
No, dude. He fought professionally. He fought for the world boxing title.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm suspect on Chris Hemsworth. I don't think.
What about Mel Gibson?
I think he's really good at taking.
Oh man, Mel Gibson, bro.
Mel Gibson's tough, but he wasn't on anybody's list.
That's fine though.
What's the rule with the
Definitely
mount?
almost
Can
made
we?
my- yeah, he definitely almost made my list, but yeah.
He would. God, dude, could you picture drunk Mel Gibson just going on a tear?
Which would hurt worse? Which would hurt worse? Your fucking face or your feelings?
Right.
Hurt worse, right? Like, man,
He would say some racist shit at you while he was beating your ass.
I got
Even if you're white.
Yeah, even if you're white, he'd be like, "You stupid cracker." He would beat your ass.
Like, could you imagine going up to like a bar and fucking with two guys and it's Russell Crowe and Mel Gibson?
No, God, no.
God, mistake of a lifetime.
God, no.
I
You know
mean,
who else has made a name for himself, beating the shit out of people? Maybe not a lot, but Vinnie Jones.
oh yeah, Vinnie Jones,
Yeah.
Bullet Tooth Tony, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Football probably doesn't count as like professional fighting.
I wouldn't put him on the mount, but worthy of a mention. I would actually give if we want to solidify a mount, I would give that spot to Mel Gibson.
I second that.
Okay, Mel Gibson. Then I mean that's 3 votes for Mel Gibson. So
And I'll tell you this.
that's a gnarly looking list right there. Funny thing, 3 Aussies.
Yeah, because Australia.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or wait, Charles Bronson's not an Aussie, is he?
No,
No, he's from
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Charles Bronson, Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, 2 Aussies.
Yeah.
And if you're
Makes
playing
sense.
along at home, feel free to let us know who you would have on your list. And
Right.
remember, this doesn't include
Yeah,
real.
and I would say, who did we miss? Like, who is an ass kicker that is like a legitimate tough guy that is an actor that's not a professional fighter, that we're not thinking of, and then maybe we're just like, oh man, that guy.
Right.
Right.
I'm sure we're probably missing a couple.
I mean, Dolph Lundgren he's never fought professionally.
If he if he fits in this category, then I would put him instead of Mel Gibson because he's just scary.
He's big, but I don't know.
I think Lundgren was on like a karate team or something like that.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
think
I don't know.
an exhibition boxing match against Oleg.
Something
In
like
Russia.
that. But I just love the story of the people that like broke into Dolph Lundgren's house and like tied up his wife, and they didn't know it was his house, and they saw a picture of him, and were like, "Oh fuck, we gotta leave Dolph Lundgren's house." Yeah, it really happened.
Wow. Wow. Dolph Lundgren, they broke into his house. Yeah. I heard about that. I remember hearing about that. All right. So last time, Tom Cruise, Charles Bronson, Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is the one we're going to throw out the vote on for the viewers to tell us whether or not we're right on that one. But that's the mount for actors that could actually hold their own in a fight. Also, go see Rebel Ridge if you haven't seen it yet. Sit down and watch it. And that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week.